Hello, welcome and welcome back. This is Jacob continuing the narration and character voicing for the currently live side story in Arknights Invitation to Wine. Oh boy. Last we left off, oh my god, I don't even know how to... I know I did a summary of the previous episode very quick, but holy shit, how do I do a summary of the last bit? That was a lot of stuff everywhere. Beginning from Mr. Nothing and Kroose finally establishing contact with Dusk and Nian, mostly Dusk, who sent out one of her ink spirits to, well, find them, and then he proceeded to bite Nothing, and then they were dragged both into a dream realm. That was a thing that happened. Just tiny showcase of her power, like, no flex at all. Then on the other end, turned out that the whole spiel of getting the black cup to Shangshu was just a thing to, hey, the cup got stolen. Whoopsie daisy, that happened. Who would have thought that it could get stolen right inside of a dignified city member, right? But more on that in very soon. Very soon. What else? Kroose met up with one of the people from the commission that oversees the Sui in general, and a lot of other things. The innkeeper's adopted daughter wants to finally, well, dethrone her father would be a big stretch to say, but she wants him to retire essentially and just to take over the business. And oh my god, a lot of other things. There were so many little threats thrown about through the last three story instances that it's a bit much. But on the other hand, as of for today's episode, well, you who are watching this will already know it. I do not know when I started recording this. It's either gonna be the entirety of the story toward the end, or it's just gonna be the story around stages 5, 6, and 7. All depends what the recording clock is gonna say once I'm done with stage 7. Considering stage 8 has no story, and 9 and the after bit have quite a bit. There's quite a bit around those two. So, yeah, without further ado, let's begin on stage 5, titled Goods and People. Also, just in case, if my voice in any capacity sounds off for this recording, I kinda woke up 2 hours ago, had breakfast, and if I clear my throat, well, you know it. Now let's quickly boost the volume for the game, considering background music is always so low. And let's begin. The breeze in the mountains is ever crisp and cool, and mornings as refreshing as these are always fine for settling muddy, murky matters. In a mountain-set village, when kitchen smoke has just sprung up, the snow still unreceded in spring, one old and one young stand off against each other. The only sound, the single strike of a faraway gong. You've kept me waiting. Bloody loud. Light, stay cool for the moment. I've seen you before. So it was you. Unexpected for sure. A Rimbilitonian silently lurking in Shangshu since the very beginning. I can't understand you. Sorry. Right. What? A snare. You train these slumberfoots well. An ordinary woman would be headfirst in the ground by now. He didn't just notice the snare behind him, he stepped on the rope without hesitation. Bastard. Don't worry, I won't make this hard for you, girl. Do you know what that goblet you're holding is? It's not my concern or my interest, it's newbie bounty hunters that ask too many questions. Then you have only yourself to blame. Don't get so full of yourself. Helmet, drill. Huh? If you don't know what it is, then be wise and hand over. Don't be used for nothing. How dare you do that to Helmet? You asked for it. A headless bolt. He caught it barehanded, at his distance, and I just changed the string on my crossbow. Fine. Seeing how you're unwilling to take my life, I'll give you one chance. Hand over the goblet to me, and then tell the other instructing you. Tread carefully. Don't be selfish. You know who hired me? Whether I know or not doesn't matter. What matters is I can't stop you right here. Why should I listen to you? You have no choice. Maybe you can run, but you can't never bear to see these beasts of yours meet a sorry fate. You're threatening me? You have skill, but aside from your crossbow, you've got nothing in a fight. You can pull one out before you're in too deep. You need a good eye and the right people if you want to survive here. True, they never told me someone as capable as you would get in the way. If I had someone do something dangerous for me, I wouldn't give them the whole picture either. It's just a job to you, stranger. Why stake your life on it? Give the cup to me and I vow on the escort's name that whatever they're paying you, we'll double it. I was asking a loss anyway with all my volunteer work. Call this a favor for a friend. A friend. So even you bandits of the wild don't mind a sacrifice for a friend. Sounds like you've got something against us. No, not at all. The longer you do business, the more fine people you meet, the less friends you end up with. Then be smart and go back to your business. Yes, business is always easiest done in the mountains. 3 mounts, 17 peaks, hundreds of passes. Is there any road without a tea house and station for travelers to rest their feet? Is there any road without or our people? I hope you see clear now, girl. You really don't think anything of me. A direct confrontation might not be my style, but you've pissed me off just far enough. Isn't it right, my darlings? In Rimbilitonian? The old Todger wants to have a go. Let's give him a go. We've been around the paddock a few times. We're no strangers. Some just refuse to learn. If that's your answer, then you'll pay the... Even if a third party stood there watching, they wouldn't have a clue just how the coming step came to land. Simply put, the man is adept at walking passes, in climbing mountains. The steps he lifts and places day after day after day are truly too many to count. In one clean noise, clay bricks shatter in the ground before him, dust drifts down. By his gaze is a simple common bamboo wood-carrying pole. His gaze itself, faint rage. Far away, the gong strikes again. Huh? Where did he come from? Wait, Light, calm down and drill. Back to me. It's you. You finally came to the mountains. So I came to find you. Sorry if I'm laughing. I just noticed myself that the fucking sigh and the lisp, well, the speech thing I gave this innkeeper, it just sounds like a freaking Minecraft villager. Anyway, what comes will come. Nothing's avoidable forever. Is there a need to be so hasty? Hey, miss. Are you talking to me? His movement. Is that wooden stick one of their carrying poles? What did he do just now to shatter bricks made of stone? Do you know him? No. Then there's no... Then, then there's some problem between you. I only see you between us. You're right. I'm your problem then. When I'm done here, I'll come and see you, but not now. Miss, does this relate to the item in your hands? It does. This is personal business, and major at that. Stay out of it. How major? The safety of the nation is at stake, life and death. Since that rainy night those years ago, I rarely heard you use such a tone. I see. How could you be the villain here? What a chivalrous swordsman. What a beautiful innkeeper. Then get out of the way. But I know just who you are, and that's why you'll never see me. And if you want, then it changes nothing if I find you. That's why I never came down from the mountains. So, if... Hey, you! Give that back! It was 10 years. 10 years ago, you watched as my son died, so you could protect this goblet. Shang Zhang. Miss, this has nothing to do with you now. Things while I'm not looking, and then tell me it's not my business. This was never yours. Shang Zhang, have you lost it? You're free to go now. Shang Zhang, leave! Mark my words, you two. I'll be back for it. Zheng Jingzhu, where's your blade? At home. I see, at home. That rainy night, in the escort, over a dozen lost their lives. There was a boy amongst them, and a father. The boy was a Shang, my boy. The father was a Du Yaoyi's father. That's why you don't carry your blade. What a tremendous joke. You still hate me to this day. I don't hate you. I know you didn't mean to. The blame lies with you, but no fault. Save the goods then the men, Yet the goods are gone now, and so are the men. Am I still not allowed to condemn you? I must ask you, give justification or else I cannot live on. I will. Give me the goblet. Do you know what it entails? No. He died for this cup then. I'll bury it beside him today. I'll be waiting atop the mountain for you to fetch your blade. Master Shen. What brought you over here? I was about to look for you at Ling's. Where's young Li? The goblet got stolen. Mr. Li sent us to fetch you. Didn't he tell you anything about this? He asked you to come and get me, but not to first find Mr. Liang. To be clear, you came from the Liang residence. Yeah? Huh. The fact he didn't send you to find Liang Jun means deep down he already knows. Gifted, how truly gifted. You're back, Uncle. How were things? In regards to her, thoughtful of etiquette, true as can be. If she was so ready to display etiquette, that shows there's still room for mediation. This is regardless of how she acts or what intentions she harbors. Master Tai's instructions lie here, and they can't be false. She's clever. Since I visited in an official capacity, she should have realized to some extent. Very well. Both Sides are now strained to breaking point. We stand on a hair trigger. We can only resolve this incident before we draw even more dispute. If we really do want everyone to trust that our methods can forever rid Jan of the sword hanging over her head, then we naturally must obey those magic words. Frank and forthright. Yep, this first part is very quick. Alright, on to the after story for stage 5. One noon tea. Alright, take a seat, Master Shang. Why so late to work today? Met an old acquaintance in the morning. Which acquaintance? Lungmanite. Fine day. Fancy meeting you again, Master. What, still looking for that pavilion? You helped me considerably by narrowing things down, but I'm still meant to find a person, and not just a pavilion, so there's yet more to do. Is it your sweetheart sitting over there? What? No, I'm not that brave. Oh, your daughter then? I hardly seem the fatherly kind, don't I? That's true. Hey, what did you just say? Me and that Lugmanite con man are what? A man and a woman going up the mountains at this hour in early spring. Nothing else do, probably. Master Shang, your noon tea. Thank you. Noon tea? Not sure if it's noon yet. Every Shangshu Polk area gets 2 free servings of tea at the mountain tea house. A noon tea in the morning, a sunset tea in the afternoon, each with some small sides. The taste of a free tea is always fine. It's tea, nothing more. But it's in the mountain, see? Mountain tea is always a bit more expensive. And if it's complimentary, you've made out like a bandit. You manage your books well. Are the shopkeepers really that kind, though? Is it all out of benevolence? The authorities subsidize it, And you know? My home happens to be a food service establishment too. Of course I got some idea. I see. Are you close with the Shangshu authorities? Have been since Mr. Liang took up office. The last few Shangshu governors were about constructive civil projects developing the mountains and forests, not just recovering the city from all its troubles, but breathing even more life into it. Maybe Governor Liang Shun thought the city was renewed enough that he came in because his agenda was peace and love for citizens instead. Whatever you think of this, you've seen nothing yet. You're wise for your young age. My dad does business. It's all just osmosis. You have a fine father. I finished my tea. I shall be on my way now. See you again, Master Shang. See you again. Hey, Lee, what's he doing with the goblet? Not sure, but he's got no motive to hide. Hanging it off his belt for anyone to see. It's like he's asking for someone to come at him. Ignore it. Let's have some tea ourselves and see how this plays out. Waiter, 2 pots of tea and 2 of the shredded meat noodles. I'm not having anything. I'll be eating both then. Your 2 pots of tea, sir. The noodles will be a bit longer. Very busy today. Thank you. Why follow us all the way here? Hey, Lee, I'm going to ask you something, and you can't laugh. Did the teapot just move by itself? Shredded meat noodles. Whoa! Mind it, sir, I'm carrying your noodles here. What the hell is this? Careful. Huh? Hey, are you okay there? That stuff in the kitchen, the cloth and the brushwork, they're all jumping out. Ah, what is that? Fire, fire, this monster's on fire. They're charging at us. Hey, Lee, tell me what the hell's going on. So the rumors about that goblet were true. That's too many people in here. Let's move. How do we reach young Lee? He told us in the letter he left. After we meet up, we find him at the summit of Shushian Peak. If he's not there yet, we wait until sundown. Good. We'll stick to it. We can't let the goblet fall into anyone else's hands. Benefactor, how should we respond to those Ling Spirit-esque manifestations from earlier? Chances are it's it's linked to the cup. We'll rendezvous with Mr. Lee first. Oh. Benefactor, wouldn't you say they're proliferated? Hmm? What bread and beast is this? Why have they been everywhere for the last 2 days? We've been surrounded, haven't we? Oh, you're feisty ones. There's no other way. Benefactor, you and Master Shen take your leave for now, and I'll handle these miscreants. You alright with that? They act more or less as the Ling spirits do. Reasons say I should cope. Master Shen, this way. Oh god, I'm remembering how I botched up his images. What troubles you? You seem so ill at ease. Nothing. Your brows always wrinkle when you worry for people. Do they? They do. Who garners such concerns from you, my lord? I'm worried for that friend of mine. What has become of him? He's gotten into a gamble. One you asked him to take. True. Are you now remorseful? I still believe this was the best option. I'm simply not sure. You are very clever, my lord. I wouldn't claim to be. I just chose a stupid method. Is every Bistinian like this? Like? Oh, don't worry. I'm happy as long as I have you all with me. Still, though. Drill, keep a hold on it now. Completely new yet neat beasts. You might just make for some unexpected traps. Dear me, what's going on? Did I offend some horror in recent times? Why are my days filled with contesting these menageries of creatures? Oh? On closer inspection, these things are... Damned. Close call. Are you hurt, sir? You must be from the other day. Don't ask. No need to be so cold, Uncle Taihei. Would you know these things, where these things arose from? Wherever the goblet goes, Wehrgeists spring up. Ironically, it's proving the Sui regulator's conjectures. Does this mean? Mind your words, young man. As you instruct, Uncle Taihei. These spirits, Wehrgeists, are they scared of these two? No. Is it specifically the boy that covers them? Take a look at these Wehrgeists. How many incidents like this have we had? 10, 25, and a full 60 years ago, with several more still. While we have wrongdoers wreaking havoc with Originium arts on occasion, things really don't come any better than this. But Sui, in the end, is Sui, and a beast in the end is a beast. If your people carry intent to harm the realm, then heaven knows how great the disaster will be. The Sui regulators has no desire to see such things come to pass, which is why we need to settle this millennium-long mess swiftly and cleanly. No more than detritus. Those things rotted back into common wares. Mr. Nothing. Please, convey this to Miss Kroose for me. I want her to reconsider what I've said. We can be on good terms regardless. Even if she should ultimately have her own considerations, my side still has a matter it wishes to entrust to Rhode Island, irrespective of position. I can assent to passing it on, but why didn't you convey this to her yourself when the moment was ripe? Well, at that moment, I was a little tensed up. I didn't get everything out. Lord Zuo. Well then, it seems we can't delay any longer. Mr. Nothing, we bid you farewell. Seems tense. So a young nobleman who scampers around with the Deputy Imperial Censor in tow has a case of the nerves? Alright, and on to the next stage. Stage 6, titled Legend. Okay, just want to make it a tiny bit louder because it's very low. In 2 or more branches' time, the color of dusk will paint the sky. These are the 3 mounts and 17 peaks, though which mount this is or which peak is a mystery. The only thing known is that a pavilion sits atop, Shangshu's scenery both past and present visible from within, beauty unparalleled. Yet, regrettably, this pavilion is currently deserted, and so no one is there to see it. And on that note, people have come. Well, here's the place. What? That depressed about meeting her? She gets on my nerves. She's not gonna bug you. That's why she gets on my nerves. She's our big sister either way. Let's straighten up. She's not even here. Nope, she isn't. Why not? With all the fuss down below, taking cover up here in the ranges does kind of smell like her style. How come when I hide you call me a recluse, but when she does it you're like this? Hey, it's not like she's always trying to hide. She's just tipsy and worn out, looking for a nice crack splitting the drifting clouds to lie down on. Looking out for a moment. That's not so bad. This is discrimination. Pull the other one. I just hope she doesn't cause any trouble for us. She's always half drunk, half asleep, half awake. Hey, that's me. If those people who come give us trouble. Yeah, real nice how she can sleep through this. Is she even able to? Say, what do you think she dreams of? I don't know. Don't ask me. Heaven knows what her mind wanders. She'll come back on her own once she's bored in any case. I hear this peak's apparently meant to be wrecked. Wonder how hard Kroose and the Nothing guy will have to work finding the summit at all. Sir, what do you have there? What comes will come, trouble and all. You bumped into Shang. Yes, he stole the cup. That bastard, how does one man be so single-minded? Leave it. This whole thing is a mess. Good swords always keep the rust away. Been years since I saw you draw it, sir. Blades are ruthless things, best put to use slicing melons and chopping greens. But if I want my business handed smoothly over to my darling Yi, then I have to settle things with Shang Zhang eventually. Old Shang might be muddled in the head, but he's not the good-for-nothing who'd harass the miss about paying her father's debts. Sir, you still won't stop over that final line, will you? What kind of person could? One storm, two lives. It was my mistake that let his son die. He has a grudge against me I can't argue with. I know more than anyone how he's felt all these years. Sir, relax. I'll get the cup back at the very least. If I don't, I won't have anything to report. Master Shen, isn't there any way to get up the mountains a little quicker? In a sense, but for people who've never taken the mountain passes before, it might be... You're fine, I'm used to this. Alright then, this way. What's the deal with these things? Hey, Lee! I'm fighting for you here. Is this all? Any place to space out? I'm fine. But... pull it together. I don't know why these things keep mobbing us, and we've lost the Black Knight lady and the pole carrier by now. Why aren't you, I don't know, hurrying it up? No rush, no rush. When I accept a friend's request, I see it through. It's just... we need to find a favorable pavilion near very favorable water for it. At such a young age, her agility is nearly unimaginable. Such a steep pass, and you've not even gasping for it yet. Have you been crossing mountains all your life? Only got into the habit the last couple of years. And I'm Rimbiliton born. Might not be quite the Yan style, but it's a life on the wilder side anyhow. I see. The passes around these summits are all hard to traverse. They always said in olden times that choose paths tried you. People argue which ones that meant, but it's all of them. In truth. Master Shen, you think there's a reason Mr. Lee told us to find him at Shijiang Peak? When he was looking into the goblet's origins for Mr. Liang, the first place he said he'd head for was Shijiang Peak. And he asked for Zhenjiang Peak. Only a few locals know the old name. The authorities changed it however many years ago. I was baffled how he even knew it. Maybe Mr. Lee found some kind of lead on it. He did have a lead. He said he dreamt of it. I assumed he was hiding something using that reason to parry me, so I didn't follow up. If he really did see it in his dreams, then that's all more curious. Shijiang Peak is a high and treacherous one. It gets at the least tourists. It's all the more peaceful here compared to the well-inhabited Nini Peak with its gentle flat paths, or Shuzo Peak covered with the old theater byways. You've seen the few small villages, buildings are all left over from long ago. Though, is there some other hint? Though when Shijiang Peak was still called Zhenjiang Peak, atop this region of mountains there was actually another peak. In the Zhenjiang together, it and Zhenjiang together were called the Twin Peaks High as the Sun, the two most majestic prominences of the 3 mountains and 18 peaks. And this peak had countless cliffs, the steep parts almost vertical, like a stone sword against the heavens when you looked from afar. It was a magnificent sight. If you watched from any other peak at sunset, it was as if the sun fell straight on it, as if someone ran it by their blade. Sadly, later there was a massive catastrophe, like fire and storm linking hands, and the terrain around here was scarred. Well, most of that sword-like peak collapsed and crumbled. That was 30 years ago now. You can pull aside any Shangshuite on the street of at least some age, and they could all tell you clear and cleanly of the marvel of those black clouds weighing on the city. I regret I wasn't aching my living on this river yet then. I never got to see it with my own eyes. A catastrophe. Why is this breaking my brain right now? And Shangshu test called it a marvel. It's a strange thing. It came without the slightest warning. By the time the Imperial astronomers got the warning out, telling the villagers nearby to evacuate, it was already barely manageable. There should have been no escape from it. But ultimately, thunder clapped and the storm faded. And apart from a few lightly battered houses, all the residents in the mountains suffered not a single bit of damage, and not one person was afflicted. That was the first wonder. Afterwards, the Tumu Tianshi came to inspect the altered mountain terrain. Normally, with a wondrous peak collapsing like that, there should be visible traces left. But apart from half of the rocky hilt left next to Shujing Peak, not a single chunk of boulder or sign of the landslide was found. That was the second wonder. What caused any of that, nobody knows. There's just some wild rumors barely worth trusting. Never thought something like that would happen in Shangshu before. Yan's history and its legends have always blended together. Like how some rumors say Shangshu's birth was to do with the lands and ancient people's dreams. The factual matter of things is beyond anyone's research powers now. The peak that disappeared, what was its name? The Sunseeker, Zunri Peak. But Yan's development has flown by. I fear to the younger generation, things that happened 30 years ago wouldn't be worth the time, being so far in the past. Stay still. Who's that? In Rimbilitonian? Oh my god, why the accent? Stone the flaming foul beast. Light, keep it from buggering off. You just settle down, love. Is she trying to catch that thing? Seems like it. Continuing in Rimbiltonian. Crikey, just like that. Keep it bound tight, eyes glued to it. Also in Rimbiltonian. You are Rimbilly then? Now, quit mucking about, we're only... Yeah, wouldn't be your knees just looking at ya. Oi, help us out, huh? Hey, take a squeeze at this and let me know what kind of animal this is. It's some Originium Arts creation type. Originium Arts? Like those stunts that Lethanian Lord boys pull? You grabbing my cylinder? Had me thinking it was some young critter I could tame. My god, this fucking accent. Which guy went and made these things up? Right, just let it go. It's as useful as an ashtray on a bike. We're looking for their owner too. What do you reckon? You are a messenger's guard? Bounty hunter? No sense in shooting a hound if it's gone into the neighborhood's paddock. Wanna work together on this? I don't know. My god, Jesus Christ, it's killing me. I don't know you from Bruce, mate, so don't think I'm gonna trust ya. Hey, Billy. Hey, Billy, though. Not even one of them so nice. That's a that shame, then. But getting to meet a Billingtonian out here still got me gobsmacked. The fuck? How do you do even horo? Horo? What? Someone teach me this. Someone teach me this magical freaking accent. Zero. Oh my god. Why? Why? See you around like a boomerang, Countess. Seven hells and didgeridoos. Your countryman? Someone teach me an Australian accent, quick. I suppose so. Can't shake this dodgy feeling. Whatever. How far left to the summit, Master Shen? Jesus Christ, someone teach me an Australian accent, I guess. Our road is wide and you two can't move aside. Tough. What does that Mandarin want with me? Master Sheng, do you have any idea what that thing on your belt is? Is it yours? Yes and no, but we hope you will hand it to us. How do you know me? We've heard some rumors. Huh. What did Jingxiu tell you? If your first reaction is to think of Sir Zheng, then presumably you know where we came from. The Sui Regulators candleholders. But you're so young. You're one I've never met before. If you're aware of our rank, why don't you give up the cup? Me and Zheng Xingyu need to settle things. But it seems like those things and the item at your waist are unrelated. My son died for this goblet. How could I be unrelated? Fine ability for one so young. These animals almost seem to fear you. We ask only your cooperation. What if I say no? Will you rob me in the open? I imagine you'll find absolutely no purpose in this cup. But to we of the Sui Regulator, the cup has tremendous use. What use? Bait. For what? Those who bring ruin to the nation and its people. Yan has known peace for centuries. Where did criminals like those come from? That's neat to know. However, we ask you to believe us, and trust the goblet to us, and you'll have done a justice great as the heavens. Huh, a justice. For someone of my sort, it mean too little, and be more than I deserve. Move aside. I fear that's not for you to decide, Master Sheng. This goblet is to be buried with my son. Jingxiu must come in person. Otherwise, keep shut. I'll wait for him at the Field of Forgotten Water in Zhujian Peak. Ingrate. A staff fighter. Oh, good, strong might. You have some force, old bull. Lord Zua, this man hides his talents. No good lies in him. Get the goods before anything. Don't let him keep you. Did you ever hear from Jingxiu the words I hate most? Don't fool with us. There, save the goods, then the men. Alright, and now for the stage after story. You haven't seen the innkeep anywhere? No. Weird. He's not at any other place too. Did he finally figure out to retire and kick back at home? If only. What's up, Leo, bud? Something got you down? I'm totally fine. Why do you ask? Your abilities, soil and stone arts? Precisely. For all your martial talent, you're a shameful fool to not apply it for good. Tying my hands with your sand, cracking my pole, what freak fighting style is that? Your pole only lightly splitting against me makes it the strange one here. From whence did it come? I only use ordinary young bamboo poles. Then my style of engagement was completely lack rigor. What's your name? Taihei. Fine name. Incredible. It's lucky I could do battle with someone like you at the very end. You're a Mandarin, aren't you? Tell me, what are you planning here with the goblet? Peace and prosperity in the realm for the ages to come. What a grand statement. But sadly, I still can't give this to you. You've got nowhere to run. So you say, you dare flee? The pole carrier leaps one step backwards. In 10 years scaling the mountains, this is one step among hundreds of thousands. Free as a kite that breaks from its string, he rises as the wind does. A hidden technique. You won't catch me in the mountains. Taihei, tell that boy, the field of forgotten water at the crest of Zhujiang Peak. Don't forget. Uncle Taihei, you couldn't catch him. It would be simple if I chased him with full vigor, but he's using the goblet as a threat, forcing Inky Zheng to meet with him. In the field of forgotten water at the crest, the two will meet, and one must die. Is there no leeway? I learned its root in our fight just now. There is none whatsoever. The field of forgotten water, was it? We need to seize the opportunity. We are lucky we didn't clash with that pole carrier any. Seeing his move reminds me of the last I ever saw Huai Tianpei 10 whole years ago. I assume you recognize those two there? I told you how my dad's on secret orders from the royal court. These two are their officials. Do you know who they are exactly? The John Lung in the front front's a big shot from the Department of Discipline and Supervision. That's all I know. I see the picture then. I'm not keen on troubling Rhode Island any, but it looks like we'll need to borrow their power after all. This has put a knot in things though. What? I didn't hear what they were saying, but judging by their direction, they hurried away. They're off to the summit. And I'm appointed to meet Rhode Island at the very summit. Whoever knew the menu to turn out quite like this? So do we ambush them at the summit first? Let's not. They're all fine fighters. We'd be asking for trouble. Well, what do we do then? Wait, quick, hide in here. Don't poke your head out. Oh. The innkeeper. What's Dad doing here? And you look ghastly pale. Is he carrying his plate here? No, it's been so many years. He's never taken it out. He's a sword fighter, isn't he? He used to be. And it seems he survived the trend. That's not encouraging. Go. The closer to the peak, the narrower the road. Nearly there now. Is this the final path? The very last one. Beyond this village, a small ways west, you will see a long stone stairway. Past its top is the field of forgotten water. Huh. Well, there's a fine coincidence meeting you all here. Very much a happenstance. What are you two after? The goblet. At the summit? There's no point in hiding it now. Yes. And someone unaccounted for has it. Just what in the world is that cup? If I told you, would you assist us in taking it back, Miss Kroose? There's a lot more to your goals than just taking it back. You obviously want to use it for something. And my guess is your goal happens to be the same as Mr. Lee's. You're all wanting to find its master. So why go to all the trouble? Are you asking us, Miss Kroose, or interrogating us? I'm no interrogator here. This goblet is made by the hands of a great offender. Offender? The offender offends wide as the heavens. Court classified, don't look into it. But you want to use this heaven-wide sinner's work to do something that involves Rhode Island operators. How am I not to help out if you don't tell me? My benefactor is quite right. Though we may be of different standings, there's never any sense in withholding the details when you entrust affairs to people. The proverb puts it well. Another's heart is hard to know. Treat each other with candor to get the matter resolved. Here I was worried you'd gotten lost. An informed concern, benefactor. You treat them as your operators. We do. The youth falls silent. The youngest of the SUI regulators, candle holders, he must weigh the pros and cons and makes his choices. It wouldn't be any startling revelation, but he doesn't want any slip-ups made here. A fearsome beast dwells in this goblet. It's only a portion of his consciousness, of course. Lord Zuo. I am within my rights. If any ensuing liability falls on the Sui regulator, you didn't have any mercy. You didn't have mercy, Uncle Taihei. Apply the legal proceedings. The Wells. Contemporary Farron mythologists are in consensus that, aside from some form of corporalized body walking in land beyond land, this ancient colossus also has means to dwell within certain objects. The ancient literally saying, "The beast walks within the generous earth," actually gives some pointer as to these creatures' characteristics. Does any old object work? Weapons are fairly common, whether it's ancient Sarkas swords or modern, mass-produced staves. We have precedents. I want to point out, ancient Sarkas swords. Continuing. But as for the concrete principle, we're still not sure. Same goes for that goblet then. Wherever it goes, Vergeists spring up. We can't say we're certain yet, but we have grounds to suspect it. The cup is alive, yet it hasn't come to life. The objects around it are all dead, yet live because of it. It's been adrift for a long time. It's by a random chance we were able to determine its location. So now you're out looking for that offender. No. I said just now its maker was guilty, but its present master is someone else entirely. And just who is it? A poet. My lord. Listening. The wind is high today. The sun is setting early. Early, but not so. The time came before I could notice. How long has it been since last you climbed the mountain? In antique times, the mountain chains of Shangshu were above human might. Shan's paths try as climbing atop the heavens. It's different nowadays. Yet for what difference tolls, some matters shall remain constant. Nowhere in the 3 mounts and 17 peaks may it be found. Will you still search, my lord? I need to. You would balk at nothing, deceive me, deceive us all for this need? I need to find it. Why? Surely you are aware that justifies a thousandfold. To impinge is still to impinge. I'll be honest, I do not know what the word impinge means, but infringe? I guess, maybe, different word. And to contravene is still to contravene. Surely you know that should you err once, not only do you forfeit the future, but you bear the brunt of the guilt. Surely you understand. I am willing to hear what you say. I understand that. It's all the more reason I cannot tell you. Why? Because as I serve as a city magistrate, I account for that single city's safety and life. Be it brick or tile or stove or kitchen, so long as the slightest harm comes to it, it is my failure in duty. As those that tower above me disagree, all I may do is try my hardest. When first we met in Changshu in my early years, I saw that past your occasional obstinacy, you were principled and upright, of vitality whole. I have been staunched in my trust that we work as one. 'Twould be no trouble we could not surmount. Yet in this moment, I cannot help but be somewhat disappointed. These words are the words of warning from my friend Miss Ning to me, or a supervisory pressuring from the Imperial Envoy of Voice Second Rank, the Assistant Minister of Rights, Ning Shishu, upon me. Now that sentence was a mouthful, oh boy. Okay, considering the time, I think we're gonna be wrapping up the episode after this next section, considering it's probably gonna be another 30 minutes. Alright, stage 7 story, titled Chaos. Chaos. Beginning with the before stage story. My head, poor head, what makes this clamor now? Ah, it was a folk song of bamboo clapping away. He shelves his game, knows not of ages change. From dreams I wake, ask only of the years. What years? What years? Ugh. Why is my wine gone? What cruelty is this? Sheng Zhong feels at the herbal plaster on his neck, as is his habit. His 10 years taking up his pole every day, climbing up and down the mountain, was his habit too. Shujing Peak is incontestably tall and perilous. So tall it lacks any human habitation, so perilous not a sound can be heard. He's lost count of how many springtimes he's now passed in Shanghai. He raises his head to look afar, and at the end of a pass with no human's former trace, he sees but one person. A person who has been waiting for him for a very long time. In the end, we meet again. We only just met. You didn't have any blade then, so we didn't meet. Well, I've brought it now. I'll be clear. I know the fault isn't yours. I also know that rainy night it wasn't just my son who died. Of course you know. You took in his daughter. How is she now? I plan for her to continue my work. Your work as an escort, or do you want her comfortable as an innkeeper, like you've been these past years? Either or, but whatever she likes. Has she found a sweetheart? Not yet. A shame. You won't live to see the day she becomes a bride. Maybe we don't need to jump to the killing today. Impossible. I know how you are. Your heart is heavy, but mine held a grudge. A grudge of 10 years. So you never planned to win against me today. The restaurants, tea houses, inns, aren't they all ways out to lead to your daughter? You know the escort is a profession of wrongs. You also know the state the escorts will be in with you gone. Don't forget, you've gone outside the rules with a blade strapped to you. People will sympathize with you, but by reason you'll still be a traitor. If you bore the guilt and led the escorts onward after that night, how could I be betraying it? My son walked that path. How could I not know? But your actions opening inns and restaurants, aren't you trampling upon their deaths? It was you. You fell at a stroke and ran from your past. I did, I know that. But we've said a little more than enough now. I am head of the Jingyu Escort Association. Ask her to the Frost, Zheng Jingzhu. Polearm of the Shangs, Shang Zhong. In early spring, twilight approaches, the trees' shadows sway, the fallen snow like silver. A gust of wind blows, and a blade falls. You've rested for too long, Zheng Jingzhu. It might not be my rest. Maybe you've climbed too many mountains, improved your footwork again. It's hard to know. But heroes like you are doomed to spend your older years unable to walk. It's such a shame. So your blade flowed quick. The snow's gleam hit my eyes. You cut open my trouser leg, and you think now I can't walk. You won't be able to block the next slash. That pole isn't any family treasure. You know, it's nothing but a stick of lousy bamboo. Dad! Gee, what are you? So you were Du Yaoi after all. In the blink of an eye, you've grown so tall. Oh. You two are quite free if it's getting dark and you still have the time to be practicing Kung Fu here. It's you. What are you doing here? I'll tell you straight, Master Shang. My friend tasked me to find that goblet on your belt. I'm looking for a pavilion. I just can't do without that cup. I worry, see, since swords don't discriminate, if you glanced off of it in your scuffle, it'll hardly be worth it when the dust settles. Dad, what are you even doing? 10 years ago, the Jingshu Escort Association took on a great commission, but the heavy rains came on the day, and they were attacked by bandits in the wild. To protect the goods, Zheng Jingzhu abandoned his fellow escorts. A dozen brothers were killed. Among them was my son and your bloodfather. Zheng Jingzhu let them die without trying. Not only did he let them die, he didn't protect the goods in the end. He didn't protect the escort's reputation. And after all that, he even turned a blind eye to their decline and fled from his failure. Did you know that? After that, your mother left Changshu and went back to her home. Du Yaoyi, can you swear you knew any of this? Yi, this has nothing to do with you. Your dad's going to...
Then you're Master Shang. No. The traitor Shang Zhong. Who the hell do you think I am? You think I spent all my life sheltered like some clueless idiot? Yeah, I know all about my mom and dad. I know better than you what old Zhang's done all these years, and now he's done it. And how he's done it. And that's precisely why I need to tell you two today. Association this and in that, they'll all be dues sooner or later. Now, if you two oldies can't stop making trouble for me.
If you don't step aside, you'll regret it. If you've got something to say, say it. A coin sword? You're joking. Are you going to cast some kind of magic in front of me or something? Excuse me. No, I'm not handy in close combat at all. It's just... If you really want this thing, then take it. Catch. Hold it. Zheng Jingzhu, no more distractions.
Don't touch my dad.
Out of my way. Yi. Shang Zhang, you've lost it. Using violence on the young. A clang. A sweep of the pole holds back the sharp gleam, but without obstruction, Zheng Jingzhu's blade now sweeps elsewhere. And that goblet proves its sturdiness again. For how could earthenware anywhere take a strike from Zheng Jingzhu's blade without a stroke of harm? But with that strike, the goblet black as the night, is sent flying away. The cup.
Just leave us. Go do your thing.
But you're...
This is family business.
Fine. Just hold on for a bit. I'll be right there. Yi, don't let him go.
The stupid old man wants your life, and you're still obsessed with that lousy thing.
Du Yaoyi is right. 10 years ago, you lost this goblet on a mountain bridge. Now you've lost it again. How does it feel? Shang Zhang, if you want me aside, then an answer simple. This is far enough.
Mr. Zheng.
The copper's been knocked down the cliff. The Arknights already after it. Move it, both of you. Thank you, sir. Taihe. Understood.
Miss Du, what's your business here? I'm not letting you go.
Why not?
There's been Mr. Liang and that Li man, and both of you impossible-looking mandarins, and after all my bystanding, I've finally gotten things straight. Besides, I made an agreement with Li. We value our promises, and that's how it works.
Yi, enough troublemaking. What a gaggle. There shouldn't have been this many people today, but no matter. Having you is enough to settle things. Miss Du, you should know we handle affairs impartially.
I don't think you're all that impartial.
Please, step aside.
No.
Then you'll have to excuse me. Now, don't be hasty. It won't do for a great lord like you to be meting out such force on a young girl, will it?
The Yin Xing fan of the Lians, as fine a kung fu as expected.
Ingrate. Lord Zuo, are you alright?
I'm fine.
Oh, ow, 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 ow. It's truly fearsome you should throw such vast bricks with ease. You had your chance, no excuse. Crossbow bolt? Who was that? Well, I have to do it.
Crocodile?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking the wrong way.
Don't get in the way, rabbit. So, Rhode Island doesn't intend on assisting the Sui regulator?
We don't. Maybe your compass points the same way as ours, but Mian and us have gotten on for a long while. I know her character in and out.
A beast's heart is hardly fathomed. What can her character be worth?
Maybe not much else for all I know, but at the very least, it's worth me.
And me? Dusk tore my confusion with a stroke and gave me what I'll describe as a blunt awakening. I might like to stand on the side of things, but the occasion's fine, and I know how to pay a grace back. The Lian clan's machine fan. You gave me a good scare last time, rooted me straight to the top. Much thanks for the opportunity now, yes, much thanks. If you want to fight over your cup, get lost before you do. This cupboard has huge significance to the association. If I could just leave it like that, I may as well be dead. You understand? You may as well be dead right now. Good, good, good. That's the look of Zheng Jingzhu. Is it because your daughter's here, or because of your escort prestige? You always were someone who wanted to live on. Now our battle finally has meaning.
Shangxiang, if your son in spirit knew that you were doing what you were doing today, would he be happy?
Don't you throw that concept at me. Even if he was alive here and now, he wouldn't be able to hold back his father. Master Shen, why are you here? I sent those people to the top and came back down. I thought I'd run into you eventually, Mr. Lin. So you're making your way too? It's been a while since I came. I'm taking a look around the vicinity. How about Miss Ning? She's aware, or perhaps was long since aware. The theft in the study was her own devising, likely. You'd better try and appease her, sir, please. Forget all the others. You can't ever let old Bai Potter wade into the fight. Tianchi Bai. If he calls a strike of lightning down, he'll have blasted straight over the Suyu regulator and the Ministry of Rights. We don't know where the Tianchi stand on this. Whoops. Pardon? I thank you for your concern, Master Shen. I'm only a boatman for all my concern is. I guarded the north for a few years. I chatted with the other soldiers, talking home and the times and so on, throughout all the cold days with nothing to do. We all devoted our hearts to Yan, but our little foolishness here and there hardly needed to get away from us. Such is the produce of the ordinary man. That's what I am. Aren't you too, Mr. Lian? The land is vast and wide, all things free, under heaven's infinity. All are ordinary men. What do you hope for me to do? I hope you'll protect the peace and safety of Shangshu, Master Shen. If any setbacks should happen in the end, I hope you'll leap in to pacify the dispute before Miss Ning and the other five act. There's an old saying, unfortunately, human affairs all depend on heaven's mandate. A shame. This is the first adage I learned from Jan's court. Heaven's mandate lies in men. Well, the title of this part is completely true. Chaos. Okay, after story. Where's it gone? Oh, it's on that branch over there, and there's a great seething mass of oddities beneath it. Arr. How do I fetch this now, then? A counter of black. All things have their needs. These bear guys' dispositions correspond with the desires of the bears. So, the ones who roused me... Is it my young sister who hunched over scrolls splashing ink into scapes? And that young sister in words of gold who makes it so when she speaks? Or was it only him as he threw a piece down with a momentary clack? Out of the way.
Long time no see.
You're a Rhode Islander.
Ah, so it was just old Lee. Still, long time no see. What dragged you from Lungmen to Shangshu?
Hey, what do you mean he took his sword and left? He went to fight someone? Who knows? None of us knew, none of us knew once of ever seen him use it before. Yeah, come to think of it, he's been getting his business big, got himself stable in Shangshu just with his restaurants. What's his style with his sword? He really hasn't used it at all that much these days, to be honest. He just cuts melons, dashes lemons, chops meat and handles fins. His fighting days are long behind. It's been a long time since he ever went to, well, harm anyone with a blade. He sort of retired from all the business then, that type. So what's he gonna do with it out there now? Dice, I guess. He's been dicing for so long. It's the only thing he knows how to do now. That's lame. Well, duh. What is dicing vegetables for ages going to power you up? Good technique. Seems you didn't just stay an innkeeper all these years.
No, I really haven't used it since then. I'm used to counting my chips, sorting out my meat. I never thought I'd still be so able with this frostbite of mine. It's surprising.
What would winning or losing even mean if I met a Zheng Jingshu depressed and joyless? It hung on my mind. It seems heaven must have willed this.
Heaven who? You're just obsessed with getting revenge.
Yi, don't interfere. Go after the Lungmanite and find the goblet.
Sorry, Dad, but you're not in charge here now.
I predicted this from you. I never once laid a hand on her. You'll regret this. Uncle Taihei, you helped the innkeeper out. You, young man? I'll search for the cup. It can't wait any longer. Hold it. Stop there. Let's not be too hasty with the rocks now. Pull any more away and we'll be stranded up here, wouldn't you say? struggling of the cornered. Benefactor, I'll hold out here. You will help Brother Lee. Don't let that kid get away with it.
Right. Do you watch yourself?
Now, you really must stop with the bullying here. The only reason I've not kicked into action is because you're a Mandarin after all. Is that why? I repay Lord Zuo's patronage. I go with him. My status has nothing to do with this. Come, disciple of Lian, you and I contest men. We shall test each other. Then, don't mind if I do. Oh, rain?
Is it raining? Shoot, the forecast promised it to be sunny today.
Sir, it's raining. Would you like to come inside and take a seat? No, thank you. Are you rain viewing? That's a good hobby, sir. I'll bring you an umbrella in just a moment. Where is the boatman who was with you? He went to the mountains. Right now? He might be stuck up there once it's dark. Yes, right now. It was a favor for me. Ah, it's the Lungmanite. Are they bear guys surrounding him? Hold on, what's that next to him?
Oh, looks like we've got new guests. Nian. Here to squabble over the cup too. Phew, that's a few less people than I was expecting.
I am Zuo Li, candle holder of the Sui Regulatory of Great Yan. By Master Tai's instructions, I am confidentially investigating Dusk and the Black Goblet's whereabouts. These little things seem quite scared of you.
If they're scared of me, hey, I get it, but this little boy here?
What's that boy got on you? You're swift.
Aha, I see. Just like that old-ass guy said. So, how'd you get that tangled up in this party, Mr. Lee?
I think that's a bit of a long story, Miss Nian. But I'm very sorry I pulled a handful of Rhode Island's operators in as well.
Not big. If Kroose and Little Lava couldn't handle this stuff, he'd never get to see things wrap up.
Well, well, you really haven't changed, Miss Nian.
Let me tell you, we've been through a whole drama these last 2 days. That scary old guy did tell us a few things though, including how the Sui Regulator and Ministry of Rights aren't quite getting along. Hey, kid, are your bunch really in such a hurry to get rid of us? There's gotta be some reason other than me pulling Dusk out of the hidey hole without a permission slip. Come on, hit me with it. If it makes sense, I might just change my mind and help you out, you know?
It's none of your concern. But if you're showing out of your own accord, then all the better. Where is she?
Who?
Stop playing the fool.
Sheesh, you climbed the wrong mountain then.
What?
She's at the summit, the top of the tallest peak in this whole sea of clouds. Did you try checking up there yet?
There is nothing in the Field of Forgotten Water. It's not different than ordinary mountains.
That's so. Don't touch that cup.
Oh, if it isn't Nian.
Long time no see. What? This, right here, right now, this is the highest point in all of the Shengshu Mountains. Highest point isn't really a right here, right now sort of definition, you know? I say, a summit is only consummate by a beautiful view. What does this highest point really mean in a physical sense anyway? If I set down a chair here, that's one step higher, right?
This place, I think I must have...
Seen it in a dream? You know something after all, Miss Lian. Of course! You and this thing have been together for way too long. Sure, ordinary humans might not figure out the goblet secret, but you and the Sui regulator have been way off the ball, seriously. Or maybe that was part of your plan too. Nian? Nah, let's not get into me for now. That kid there looks like he's bursting to say something, huh? Firstly, I need you to give an explanation for Dusk's departure. Miss Kroose persists in regard you as a Rhode Islander, thus all three of you here have some relation to the company. In accordance with your answers and this incident's resolution, I will consider penning a letter to the Imperial Court with grave regard to this matter. Dragging Dusk off was my call entirely. Rhode Island just accepted a personal request of mine. That satisfy you? No. Anytime the 12 of you meet, exchange messages, or converse in a major strain is a major strain on the Sui regulator's nerves. How can you be ignorant of that? Oh, that's a mature word for such a young kid. Who's the boss of the Sui regulators now? Anyone to know? You've been idle for too long. The human realm has gone through changes. Dang. Where's Dusk? And where's Ling? And what intent do you three have assembling in Changshu? And what secrets does this goblet hide? You guys asked someone to get the cup from Lungmenda. Was that our fault? You know the significance of us necessitating it to be in Sui Regulator's hands. Of course, this thing has got a chunk of my good old second bro's consciousness jailed in it. You're well aware, then it's exceedingly hard to consider any of you here unaware or innocent. I wasn't going to pretend to be unaware, even though Lian Jun really didn't tell me a thing. Might have been stretching it a little when I kept saying Rhode Island didn't know anything. Yeah, I'd say seeing how you're a casualty. Me? I only just realized it. And you, Sui regulator guys, come on, you spent all these years with nothing to do but think about it and you still couldn't get there. The firmament is not only able to separate parts of itself into proxies with independent personalities, but can store its consciousness within certain mediums in order to roam. But can your proxies really do the same thing over again? Just as if you were an Ursus Matryoshka? I don't know if we can, but maybe it's a new trick he came up with. So he can collect all 181 black stones or something like that. Wouldn't he go mad? I mean, he's already gone mad though. With him locked up in the capital, you can't pay him a visit. Meeting with him would be the greatest taboo. You Sui regulator people have done so much, and you still care? What about Dusk? What did you seek Dusk for, and why did you come here after doing so? I have an idea. According to the records, you're always full of ideas. I guess you actually know a little about me, huh? She's looking this way. I want to come up with a way to wipe out that giant thing.
Rain. A drizzle of spring rain. A boatman who sails the waterways at this moment travels through the towering mountains. It's almost dark. Climbing up and down like this really wrecks my old body. Alright, this is kind of perfect. An hour and a half. And probably the last bit will be slightly above an hour, I think. So, this will be it today. Like I said, Stage 8 has no story whatsoever. It's just combat. But obviously Stage 9 has. And considering this stage is kind of special in its boss and how it works and how it is presented, it's a big on the big. It is big. It's a bit on the different side of the usual bosses in the story, so I'll try and see if I can get a run together where I have like Neon, Dusk, and Ling for this one. So maybe I can add it to the narration as just a story bit, considering it is a big battle, but we'll see next time. I probably can somehow. Just need to arrange some stuff. But yeah, this will be it for today. Gonna take a small break. I still need to do the EX stages, have not touched them as of this recording. So probably gonna, either after that or later in the day, record the last part of the story, and it should be up on the channel a day after this one. So, until then, this has been Jacob. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you in the next part. Until then, bye-bye.